Hello, this is Sylvana Candela. I'm a licensed acupuncturist, an author, and a publisher. And I am producing a series of videos, basically on the theme being mainly healing yourself to heal the world. And all of the videos I do are pretty much about that, working on yourself, that you can project a positive outlook and a vibration and a raised higher frequency that you can not only heal yourself, but heal others from your own positive energy, which is really important. So, what I'm going to talk about for the next few sessions here is basically coping in COVID. And there are three things I'm going to discuss. One is coping in COVID with providing immune support. And the other, coping in COVID, is for mental and emotional issues. And the other one, coping in COVID during the holiday season. And that is upon us. We are all going through it right now. And that's what I'm going to start with today. How do we cope with the holiday season and being in the situation that we are all in? And there is some similarities and some differences. And basically, I'm going to look at two different things that we are facing, each one of us. There's the situation where we are completely isolated, alone. We live by ourselves, and we don't really have much contact with other human beings right now. And that is also known as solitary confinement. Um, it may not be as drastic a solitary as when it's not a nice situation like your home, but it's still, even if it's the nicest situation you have, the most lovely home, and all the nicey nice things that you can have, it's still difficult to be without human contact. Now, I'm not going to bring up in this particular video the other extreme things of dealing with, and these are things we need to deal with too. But that's going to be another discussion altogether of when there's financial problems and illness and facing eviction and all of those very, very traumatic things. Um, that's something I'd like to address and bring up in a separate video, and all of the more traumatic and difficult things that we have to face. And that includes losing loved ones in COVID, because that's also traumatic, very, very grievous and traumatic. So for today, we're going to talk about the two types, which are being completely alone, and the other type, which is having a very full household, where you're all kind of locked in together or confined with each other, and on a day-to-day basis without a break. And each of those two things present challenges of their own. And I'm going to give some ideas on how to deal with that, so that your health is not compromised further from stress and anxiety and solitude and depression and all of those things that do affect our immune system. So it's really important to recognize that. Speaking for myself, I am the alone type. That's my situation. I live here in my apartment, and I'm elderly, so I'm considered the high risk category. Although I don't feel like it, but my age says I am. And my family is scattered around. Some are here local, but we are protecting each other by staying, in our own bubbles within our household. The household bubble. Who you live with, kind of thing. And we Zoom, and we're going to be Zooming on Christmas, and we're Zooming on each other's birthdays, and that's wonderful. And we see each other from a distance as much as we can, and we're careful, and we do the social distancing, masks, 6 feet or whatever, all of those suggestions we're doing and we're following. because we care about each other, because we love each other, because we don't want to hurt each other. And that's why we're doing that. And knowing that, and knowing that we are not in this alone, even though it feels like we are, because when you're here alone by yourself, it can get lonely. But I'm going to tell you how I've coped with that, and hopefully that will help some of you listening to this. Um, the first thing is not to take it personal. that's so, that's probably the most basic and important thing is when we have people, everyone's going to have a different idea of what's safe and what isn't safe, you know, and we have to respect each other's ideas of that. So if some people feel, it's best to really isolate from everybody, then we have to respect that and not take it personally that they're keeping us at a distance. They're showing their love in that way, and we need to recognize it as such. Um, and the other thing is to realize that we can reframe this, as the saying in psychology goes. We can look at the holidays in a different way. Instead of this year expecting things to be as is. Now, I'm not saying, you can't do that. If you feel this is what you want to do, that's fine. But for those of us who want to practice the social distancing, there's no judgment. You do whatever you and your family feel is best. And, you're very much entitled to do that. And that's fine. But, for those of us who want to follow this way of being, this rule, this whatever, it's we can, like I said, we can reframe it and think, what else can I do this year? And I'm going to focus on Christmas now since it's coming up, but this is for any holiday, for anybody, for any special day that you have that you would normally have family plans or other plans. How to reframe it means that I'm not going to expect this day, and for this, for the sake of this discussion, we'll say Christmas. I'm not going to expect it to look like other years, except that, I'll be sharing a little bit with my family on YouTube. We're going to open presents together on YouTube, which is nice. But even if you don't have that, what I am planning to do on Christmas, which is just a few days away, is take it as a day of prayer and meditation and spreading goodwill and energy throughout the world. I actually bought myself a little globe and it's sitting in my prayer room right now. And these little sayings I have all over, scripture and, all the kind of positive sayings of love and peace and, good vibes, good message. And I am going to focus on that globe. I'm going to look at it, I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to send out positive energy everywhere. And I'm making a commitment to myself not to work because I'm in the process of writing another book right now. And it's very easy to sit down when you get an idea and say, hey, there it goes. I'm going to write, I'm going to write, I'm going to write. No, I am taking that day to give love and to honor my faith, my family, my people, my friends, and the whole world. And the message of Christmas, which to me is about giving love. And that's how I'm going to honor that day, by being here by myself and spreading love to the global community, thinking of everybody I know who needs healing, who needs love, who needs a kind word, a kind thought. Those who are struggling, my prayers and my heart goes out to you. Whether it's, the homeless situation or facing homelessness or having lost a loved one or having somebody who you care about deeply, who's in the hospital right now, who you can't see, who's struggling with COVID. These are the things that I'm going to be doing, sending out very positive, loving energy to you, all of you who are in these situations. Know that you're in my heart and that your struggles are not being ignored by anybody, nor is our Creator ignoring them. And He is here, and we are all here for you. And there's so much love to tap into. And I hope and I pray that you find that and that you experience and feel that from those of us who are able to sit there and give that. Now I know that's not, going to be the answer for everybody because, there may be some antsiness, some other things that you're dealing with that, you need to have some other things to do. So for some people, it'll be getting out and taking a drive, going for a walk, going for a hike. There are going to be a few shops open if you need to be around people. There are all kinds of creative things you can do, but the most important thing is to realize that you are giving back to all those who you're not seeing today, on this day, on Christmas Day. You're giving your love by saying, I am keeping you safe. I am holding you in my heart and I'm keeping you safe. So, whatever activities you do, it's whatever you enjoy, really, after that. But the main thing is having that attitude. And with that attitude, you're going to vibrate on a higher frequency and you're going to enjoy your day much better, much better. Um, for those who are with a family alone, I mean, not alone, I'm sorry, who are with a family all the time, and you're kind of all in one place together day in and day out. And it's very stressful and it's very difficult. And normally holidays are stressful, difficult times. They're not easy. Holidays are, we all know that, have the ups and downs, and it can be stressful. So, my advice to those of you who, my first line of advice, my first little piece of advice here, if you're, in that situation where you're, with the same people day in and day out, and it gets a little stressful, and here comes Christmas morning, my first advice is try not to kill each other. I'm being sarcastic, but you know what I mean. Yes, you want to maintain that that joyousness, even in the face of the stress of being in each other's faces all the time. So, how do you do that? How not to kill each other? Okay. Basically, if you're in a confined space like that with a lot of other people all the time, you need to have that alone space and alone time. And besides all this, the same advice of getting out and doing things on your own and what have you, a walk, a drive, or whatever, having a little prayer closet of your own, it's important to have your own little space in your house, your apartment, no matter how small, no matter what, where you let your family know this is your space and you need to go in it and you need to be there by yourself and make that your little haven, your time. You might even have a little something hanging it if you're, in your bedroom door, hanging something that says, do not disturb, please. And, for the next however hour or two or whatever you need, just, saying you're having a mental moment. You can think of some creative things to say. And you need some alone time, and you can discuss this amongst yourselves and your family, whatever works for all of you, because everybody's different. Every family has their own way of communicating these things. So you want to let people know that this is your time to not be disturbed. Do not disturb. And then you can have that peace and that quiet and that time, even if it's a corner of a room. My granddaughter, and this is on my website, under the blogs. And it's called Creating a Sacred Space in COVID. My granddaughter, who had just turned 11, yeah, I had to think about that for a minute. Um, she did this beautiful thing which I shared in my blog, where she created this little tent with chairs and a blanket, her little stuffies in there, which she took in with her in the family room in a corner somewhere. And that was her time and space. And that is her time and space. And that's one of the things and she's a wonderful example how to do that. Thank you, Ivy. That's her name, Ivy. And she's just amazing. And my grandchildren are all amazing like that. And I think that their whole generation is amazing like that because they can be very flexible. We can learn from them. But we also have to support them because it gets hard for them too when they can't see their friends. So, emphasizing with your children how important this is and whatever you've established as your boundaries and your guidelines for social distancing and COVID bubbling and all that, you just let your children know that this is what's important to you and why, and how they are showing how much they care for their friends and for each other if they're old enough to understand that. And most young people are. Um, if they're little ones, then that's another issue. And I think that the Zoom can be helpful. I don't know what else. I'm a little stuck on that because I know for some little ones it's really difficult. The only thing I could say is to just understand them as much as you can and be patient with them and give them all the love you can. And don't expect, them to be able to cope on their own with this, with the isolation, loneliness, and the lack of where's everybody? Where are all my friends? That's where you come into it as the parent. And it is difficult. It is difficult, but definitely doable. Definitely. And, reaching out in other ways. My church community is amazing. They've come up with some wonderful creative ways to reach out to people without doing the usual. And, I really think if we put our heads together, we can all discuss creative ways of sharing love with each other because that's what this time of year is. It's about sharing love. And it may not look like the typical family dinner for many of us, but there are other ways of showing and expressing and sharing our love. And that's what this is all about. And I wish you the very best until next time when I'll be talking about immune support and what you can do during COVID to help keep yourself strong, to keep your immune system in good shape. Whether you're whether you're compromised or not, there are things you can do to help yourself. Everybody can. So until then, have a wonderful holiday season and so much love to you from me to all of you. And have a wonderful time with your family and blessings. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.